Hello, James here, doing a quick video on the Portfolio Manager. I'm going to throw 50 lineups in the 18 today, so I figured I would do a quick video going over, how I'm doing that. I have already gone and gone through the process of grabbing everything from the site and from DraftKings that I need, so I'm just going to go ahead and load this up, and then we're going to start talking about it. If you need info on how to get this loaded, then I have videos on that on the YouTube, but this is just where we're going to start, right? So we're all good here. And then we're going to go over to manage portfolio. So, okay, what do we want to do here? So we have about 6,000 lineups to work with here. And what I want to do first is say, okay, I have 50 lineups, so I want to give myself a decent base of lineups like that just are, not crazy. So first things first that I'm going to do, I'm going to give myself some New York Yankees exposure because they're going to be highly owned and I want some exposure to them. I'm going to give myself some Dodgers too. So that's going to be the first two things I do. So first things first, I'm going to go with specific stacks. I'm going to include just the New York Yankees. And then I am going to go ahead and say min acceptable salary, let's say 49,000, and go ahead and submit that. I don't mind if the lineups are quote unquote bad or like negative edge or whatever, because I'm not really playing these to make it so that I win, right? Like I'm playing these so that I give myself decent floor. I'm also going to remove the pitcher that they're up against. So that goes from 153 to 152. There was one lineup in there where I had a Yankees stack against Singer. So the last thing I'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and trim these based on median and weighted own and see what I get there. I'm going to assume, yeah, okay, so 7 lineups. And those 7 lineups are pretty good, right? Yank stacks with Fried, Wheeler, lots of Fried, some Boyd. Overall, we have one with big negative lineup edge, and then we have a couple that are strong. Yeah, this is a pretty good set, right? So we're going to go ahead and add those to the custom export. And then we're going to reset the portfolio, and we're going to go through the same process with Dodgers lineups now. Okay, so we're going to start right back up here, right? Specific stacks this time. It's going to be Dodgers. So then we're going to submit that, parse that down. So there's 91 possible Dodgers lineups. The Dodgers are up against. Dodgers up against. Dolander. Okay, so over here, let's go ahead and remove Dolander. Okay, he is not there, so that's fine. That means there are no lineups up against him. And then once again, we're just going to go ahead and trim this based on median and weighted ownership. That gets me down to 10 lineups, and let's take a look at that. So these are all positive lineup edge, actually. These all look pretty good. Fried, Cabrera, Rasmussen. It's quite a bit of Fried. I'm going to be way overexposed Fried, I think. It's fine, whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and add those to my custom export. So now that I have those, let's go ahead and take a look at what that means, right? So over here, we also want to say, all right, give me a whole bunch of lineups with Zach Wheeler, right? Because Zach Wheeler has a lot of ownership, and I do want to also kind of drop down my volatility in regards to that. So let's go ahead and reset the portfolio. And I am also going to look at kind of what I have here in my export. So here's just my export base, and there's 17 lineups. So we have some Wheeler. I'm gonna actually just see how much Wheeler I have. I don't have any SP1 Wheelers. I have 3 Wheeler lineups. So yeah, we definitely want some more Wheeler lineups. So let's go ahead and go back to our portfolio. Take a look at this, and now instead of doing specific stacks, let's go all stacks. Submit that. That should be fine. Oops. Actually, let's just go ahead and reset our portfolio there, because I think I was removing Chase Dolander with that set. So let's go ahead and here, lock in Wheeler, submit that. It takes us down to 1,300 lineups. And yep, okay, so we're at 49K. So he's really highly owned. I might do min acceptable lineup edge as positive, but I'm not sure that I need to. Like, I think we're going to end up with some negative lineups, but not too many. Let's go ahead and just trim that and just see what that does. So taking it from 1,300 lineups, let's go ahead and trim it down to 10 lineups. It's pretty nice. That'll give us 27 lineups. And remember, these all have Zach Wheeler, and I'm sure, let's see. Okay, no, so there is actually a Houston lineup, so we'll probably want to get rid of that one. And is that, well, there's 2 negative edge lineups. I guess I can get rid of both of them. Yeah, fuck it. Just get rid of both those. All right. And that'll get rid of the Houston lineup as well, so I don't have to go in there and reset that later, right? So go ahead and submit that. Get rid of a couple, and that now gives us Cincinnati, Atlanta, Seattle, Colorado. Yeah, cool. It's pretty solid. All right. So let's go ahead and add that. So now I have, 24 lineups in my export base. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to have a couple more, right? So we have 3 Zach Wheelers here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 10 Zach Wheelers. It's not too bad. I can deal with that. I think we're going to have a lot of fried. Oh, hey, this is working. I didn't know this was working. It's pretty sick. So yeah, we have 14 fried, 10 Zach Wheelers from Rasmussen. All right. So the next thing that I want to do, since this is for large field stuff, right? I want to get some exposure overall to some highly volatile lineups. So let's go ahead and reset this, and I'm going to give myself some Houston stacks up against Wheeler, right? Because that makes sense. We're going to make it so that, like, I don't mind if this is negative 0.50 here. That doesn't bother me. I'm going to go specific stacks, and we're going to go Houston. So we're going to build ourselves some Houston stacks here. Go ahead and submit that. I don't think I'm going to have very many. Yeah, I only have 4. And one of them is actually up against Wheeler. So I'm only going to have 3 of these. I don't mind that. Oh, wow. 2 of them are actually up against Wheeler. Yeah. So, okay. I have a couple Houston stacks. It might be because of the 49K limit that I actually built. So really quick, let's go ahead and reset this and drop this down to maybe 48,000 for Houston stacks. Yeah, okay, that helps a little bit. All right. So yeah, and then we're going to remove Wheeler here. So that, and that gives me 3. Okay, so add that. So now we have a couple Houston stacks, right? And that feels good. So now we have 27. A couple Houston stacks, lots of Yankees, lots of Dodgers, a couple here and there, a couple Houston stacks. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and get, I'm going to reset, and then we're going to go ahead and get some exposure against the Yankees, right? Because that's one of the other thing I want to do here, right? Like, I'm going to want some Dolander. I'm going to want some Singer. And I don't know, maybe we can just go with them individually. I guess that works. And we'll go min acceptable salary again, 48,000 on that. I don't mind doing that. Negative, I don't mind doing that. Let's go ahead and go all stacks and run that, right? Fine with that. It's going to take us down a little bit, but not too far. And then here, we're going to lock Dolander. And I don't think I have very much Dolander anyway. Yeah, there's only 5 lineups in here that are Dolander stacks. And obviously none of these are going to be Dodger stacks, but I do still want some, right? Like, we're going to get some Seattle, some Atlanta, some Seattle. And ideally what I would have liked to see is some Dolander with the Yankees, but I'm just not going to get any of that. So I don't mind that. I'm going to take a short look. Some of these lineups aren't great, but that's mostly just because they have like low projections and high ownership, and it is what it is. But I don't mind having high ownership really on lineups where I have like Chase Dolander with Zach Wheeler. Like, I don't really care all that much about that, right? So let's go ahead and just add those. I don't really feel that it's necessary to do much more than just like have those, right? Let's go ahead and reset our little lineups here. And then, again, we're just going to say, okay, yep, let's just trim this down to at least 48,000. Submit that. Takes us down to that 3,700 again. And what was the other one? We wanted Singer. Let's go ahead and do that. Submit those. Okay, so we actually have 23 Singer lineups. That's not too bad. Obviously, we don't want any up against the Yankees. So what we'll do is we'll go up here. And then again, actually, I have a better way to do this, I think. 0.82, -6. I mean, let's just trim those down. See what that does if we just trim. All right, so we want median weighted. Let's go ahead and trim it. That'll give us 4, and yeah, okay, so that'll work. So a Mets, Seattle, Chicago. I'm fine with that. Let's go ahead and add those to the custom export. All right, okay, so now let's go ahead and reset the portfolio one more time. I think we only need to reset it one more time. And let's go ahead and look at our export base here. So we have 36 lineups here. We have 22 Max Fried. We have 12 Wheeler, 10 Rasmussen, Edmund, Boyd. So we're pretty heavily exposed to Fried here. And I don't hate that, but at the same time, I would maybe like to get to lower my volatility there. So Fried is up against Cincinnati. I think that I would like some Cincinnati stacks just to kind of round this out a little bit. So we're going to go here. We're going to go micro filter. We're going to want to remove Fried first because we know that we don't want him against the Cincinnati stacks. And then we're going to say include specific stacks and go with Cincinnati. All right. Submit that. Okay, so that's 14. And then, again, we'll just go ahead and say, all right, we don't want to have 14 stacks, so let's go ahead and trim those down and see what we end up with. So there's 3 stacks. Okay, that'll work. We'll get a Wheeler, get some more Webs. Okay, cool. Add to custom export. So now, let's see, 38, so we need 12 more. And now what we might be able to do, yeah, see, sometimes it gets a little weird like that. So now what we might be able to do here is say, all right, let's reset our portfolio. Ooh, I wonder, let's take a look, see here, 38. Yeah, okay, that's what happens. All right. So cool, we have 22 Fried. So we need 12 lineups, so let's go ahead and go back to our portfolio. And let's see, what are the models like here? So models obviously like the Dodgers. We have plenty of Dodgers. I think I've seen that we have some Mets. Let's see. What are some other highly owned stacks that we might want? Phillies. What are some high DK run per dollar? So some Minnesota stacks. That doesn't look terrible. Ownership is relatively low. Seattle. Let's see. Maybe I should build something in here that tells me what stacks I have. Okay, mental note. I need to know what stacks I have. So let's see. Let's go ahead and go over here and let's run the contest sims and see what that gives me. So let's go ahead and just run on. Just want to see small and say average. No, let's go large and average. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of take a look and see like what lineups are popping in a large average field, because the 18 I think is pretty representative of a large average field. And then I'm going to see if I want to force anything in there. And I'm not sure that it's going to tell me anything that I don't already know from the range of outcomes, right? Like I don't expect that to be that much different than what I see here. But hey, maybe it will be. Who knows? All right, so let's see. So I'm getting a whole bunch fried. I don't mind that. Let's see team exposures. So Mets. All right, let's go jam in some more Mets here. Mets. All right, so 48K. I don't mind that. Maybe I'll go 49K for Mets lineups. And specific stacks, the Mets. So submit that. Get 452. Go ahead and I don't know that we need to remove any players. I mean, I guess just to keep things kosher, we'll remove whoever they're up against. Fuentes, right? I don't know if Fuentes is even in there. No, he's not. Okay. All right. So let's take a look and let's just go ahead and trim these down. Hey, yeah, that gives me 16 lineups, right? And I imagine that's going to be a lot of fried, but I don't think I mind because I think that he's the best play on the slate. Do I have any negative lineup edges here? Only 2, and it's just going to be the 2 that I get rid of at the end. So cool. That looks pretty good. All right. Let's go ahead and add these to the custom export. And then go back over here, go to the export base. And there we go. We got 54 lineups. So let's go ahead and download our portfolio here. And that's going to be our 54 lineups, right? So now we have all these boys. And all I'm going to do is just say, okay, that last chunk was just giving me more Mets lineups anyway. We're good. We have plenty of Yankees, plenty of Dodgers. We have a bunch of Mets. We have some Houston. We have some Cincinnati stacks, which are in there as well. Some Seattle. Yeah, pretty nice little spread there. So there's a portfolio. And then we are going to just upload DraftKings. But you guys don't need to watch me do that. This has been using the portfolio manager to create my portfolio here. Another thing that I could have done, right, that I didn't need to do was instead of filtering straight, I could have done like some trim slacks, or if I wanted some more combos of both Zach Wheeler and Max Fried, I could have locked those players there. If I wanted to force only positive lineup edge lineups, I could have done that here. So lots of different things that I could have done here, but this should be good. Hopefully I take down 50K tonight, and I can tag this video in doing so. If you thought that this was cool, make sure that you go test out this tool. It's in the experimental portfolio manager. It is still free to use for now while I continue to mess around with it and give additions. So I'm going to go upload my lineups and win 50K. All right, adios.